Hello and welcome back to Studio Session. I'm Katherine and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Getting started with today's report. For reading, recently I've just been reading up on things that I'm interested in. I follow a lot of social media accounts that will recommend long form articles about really interesting topics. I just find them so fascinating. They could range from current events to just random historical things. I don't know. I just think that they're so cool to read up on different topics. For eating, the other day I had Tootsie Pops for the first time in a while, and they are so good. I just love the Tootsie Roll in the lollipop. I don't know, random, but good. For playing, do not hate me, but I think that the most gut-wrenching song or type of music you can possibly play is Christmas music when it's not Christmas. The other day I had a song stuck in my head that was a Christmas song, so I looked it up on Apple Music and I did find it. But then I just went down a spiral of listening to Christmas music, and it just made me so sad because it's not Christmas, but obviously I'm super excited for summer. But it was just so gut-wrenching. Yeah, so Christmas music in the summer is definitely an experience. For obsessing, I am just obsessing over when colleges will send out their decisions because I'm still waiting on 5 college decisions, and decision day is kind of soon. It's almost April, and usually May 1st is when colleges want to hear back by. So I'm just kind of obsessed with figuring out when I'm going to be hearing back from these schools. For recommending, I recommend that you set countdowns for things that you're excited for to kind of just build the hype. I have an app that I put in all of my upcoming events, whether it be school dances, my birthday, trips I'm excited about. It just kind of gets me excited for those things. And finally, for treating, honestly, I'm really not treating myself to anything because I'm still in that month of March for personal finance where we have to track all of our income and spending. And I really do not want to fill up that expense ledger because I don't know. I feel better when it looks like my income is more than my expenses. That's it for today's report, and let's jump into our main segment. I'm joined with Lucas for our main segment, and today's album is our Green album, and we chose the Weezer Green album. Like I mentioned in the last podcast, it's honestly hard to find albums with a solid green cover. A lot of albums have green in them, but just a solid green background is difficult. So we did land on the Green album by Weezer. This is a rock album that was released in 2001. My favorite song on the album, no surprise, I chose Island in the Sun. I just love the vibe and the beat. It's the epitome of a summer song to me. It's on my summer playlist, It's fun, but still kind of calm and relaxing too. It's not over the top hype. But I like that. And I think it's unique compared to a lot of the other songs on this album because it doesn't really give that, it's still, I guess, a rock song, but not as rock as some of the others. I don't really know how to explain it, but I just like the vibe of this one. I like how it's a little bit different and super summery.
Yeah, I also went with Island in the Sun as my most favorite, rightfully so. Very good instrumental work on this one, as is the rest of this album. For some reason, I don't know if this was ever in an episode, but I associate this song pretty heavily with Curious George. I did not do the research. I'm not sure if this was on a Curious George episode, but something about it I just got Curious George vibes from this one, if that makes sense at all.
That's interesting. As an avid Curious George viewer in my youth, I don't recall that being in an episode, but who knows? It very easily could be. My second favorite song on this album was Knockdown Dragout. I was surprised on how much I liked this one, considering that it is a little more rock-esque, I guess. It kind of reminds me of other early 2000s radio-style rock music. Maybe that's why I liked it. It just reminded me of things I would hear on the radio as a kid. It had a catchy beat, nice lyrics, and yeah, Knockdown Dragout was my second pick.
So I just looked it up. I must be dreaming because it was not in a Curious George episode from what I can tell. My second favorite song, however, is Smile. This, I think, probably had the best lyrics of any song on the album, in my opinion. Definitely above their average bar of lyricism. And, again, crazy guitar work on this one. Just some of these tracks are just really good from just a musical standpoint. Is just incredible.
This brings me to my least favorite on the album. I went with Crab. I disliked the lyrics of this one. Definitely the worst lyrics on this album. There's just not really much commentary I can make, to be honest, because like the beat was simply the most forgettable of them all. So that mixed with the lyrics that I didn't like just landed it in the bottom spot. So Crab was my least favorite.
I also picked Crab as my least favorite. I just thought it was too aggressive following Island in the Sun. Like coming off a song that is on the calmer end of the rock spectrum, I just feel like Crab might have been better off if it was placed at another spot in this album.
I definitely agree with that. It just kind of threw me off after listening to Island in the Sun, which I loved so much. For my underrated pick for this album, I chose Simple Pages. I just love the tune to this one. It kind of like scratched my brain the right way, if that makes any sense. I think this is also my third favorite. I just think that if more people like listened to this one, they would appreciate it because, I don't know, I just think it's a good song that deserves more hype. So Simple Pages was my underrated pick for this album.
And what do you know? I also have Simple Pages down as my underrated pick. Again, the guitar is crazy on this one. Just feels like a nostalgic song. Although this one came out in 2001 and I was born in 2006, I just have this nostalgic feel when listening to it. And I think it's a good compliment to, an album that could really use it.
For my overall album rating, I gave this album a 6.5 out of 10. Not my favorite one we've listened to, but I was still pleasantly surprised. The whole album was under 30 minutes, so definitely like a nice short little listening experience if you don't want something too long. This kind of vibe isn't always my go-to vibe when it comes to music, but I can still appreciate it. This whole genre kind of makes me feel like I'm in an early 2000s movie, if that makes any sense. Kind of like what Lucas was saying about like the Curious George thing. I just feel like a lot of these songs would make sense in like a kids' TV show or like a coming-of-age movie. I don't know. There are definitely some underrated gems on this album. Solid overall, just not like a top album for me. So a solid 6.5 out of 10.
So if I'm recounting correctly, we had the same most favorite, least favorite, and underrated, and we also have the same rating. I gave this one a 6.5 as well. I just feel like although it is solid throughout, this is similar to the theory of our last album where it's just like there's no crazy highlights where I'm like, oh wow, that's really carrying the album here. Although Island in the Sun is really good, I just don't feel like it's in that company, and I feel like some of the placements of songs, it just feels more like a mixtape than a completed album to me, in my opinion. Although it is very well produced and the instrumentals are incredible, so I'm giving it a 6.5.
That's definitely really interesting that we had a lot of the same picks and the same ranking. I kind of had a similar thought process like about the last album, how it kind of reminded me of it, but just because some of these tunes were cool, thought it was more cohesive, I did give it like the 0.5. I'm pretty sure we gave this old dog, I think I gave it like a 6. So that was kind of my thought process there. That was it for our main segment, and let's jump into our next one. Okay, so for our next segment today, we are going to be playing another game of lyrics out of context. We played this on an earlier podcast, and it was definitely a lot of fun, but really tricky. It's just kind of hard to like think of these lyrics on your feet, especially when they're not being sung, they're just being spoken. Okay, I think I have a good mix of, we're gonna do 3 each, but I think I have a good mix of like ones I think Lucas will get and one I don't think he's gonna get. I just liked the lyrics. All right, my first one is, do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
Okay, so I did see this on my search. I'm blanking on the name, so I need a minute. This is Firework by I'm gonna say Katy Perry.
That is correct. Firework by Katy Perry has this line.
I was stuck between Katy Perry and Lady Gaga. I don't know why. Okay, my first line is, again, I also tried to go with bars that would be recognizable. And then one kind of isn't. My first one is green was the color of the grass.
I immediately recognize this one as Invisible String by Taylor Swift.
That is correct.
My next one, I don't think you're going to get this because I wouldn't have got this, I don't think. I just kind of liked this lyric. Okay. Now you get to watch her leave out the window. Guess that's why they call it window pane.
Okay, that is Eminem on I think it's Love the Way You Lie with Rihanna.
Yes, that's actually correct. I'm shocked because like I know this song, but I wouldn't have recognized that lyric. Good job.
Okay, my next line, I'll go with my questionable one as well. This one is, the pocket is fat like Tony Soprano.
I have absolutely no idea. Can I have like a hint?
It is on a song that was performed in V Show.
Um, I'm just gonna get Crazy in Love.
That is correct.
Okay, I feel like that was kind of like cheating, but I had no idea. Okay, my last one is, somebody grabbed his collar, he cried the whole way home.
Okay, that would be Elephant by Tame Impala. All right, my final one is, he pulled off the mirrors of his Cadillac because he doesn't like it looking like he looks back.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Elephant was correct, by the way, guys. I did that one because I feel like that is like our top mentioned song on this podcast now. But okay, for the Cadillac one, why am I so bad at this? Lucas just got all three of mine, and I cannot think of this. I'm gonna need another hint.
Well, unfortunately, I can't give you a hint because wouldn't you know, it's also from Elephant. Yeah, we're very synchronized on this podcast.
To be completely honest, guys, I don't think I've ever fully listened to this song. We haven't reviewed the album yet, and I'm not really familiar with that Tame Impala album as much as I am the other ones. So to be like, I had to look up those lyrics. I just wanted to see if Lucas could get the song that I know he likes so much. Sorry, I guess I'll have to listen to that one. That was it for our game of lyrics out of context, and let's jump into our final segment of the day. For our final segment, of course, we are going to be talking about what to expect next. For our blue album, we chose Nevermind by Nirvana. We originally were going to do Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino, but we just thought Nevermind by Nirvana would kind of like spruce it up, I think, by doing... Nirvana's not like an old band, but like a little more of a throwback as opposed to like more modern music. I don't know, we just thought it would give us more variety. So that is going to be our blue album. No really notable album releases for this weekend, unfortunately. Yeah, any closing remarks today?
Okay, yeah, so like we said, no new albums. I have heard good reviews about the Ariana Grande album, so I will be listening to that this weekend if there's nothing coming out. One thing, I do often sit here and listen to Catherine's report. For our reading, I'm not a big reading guy, but for English class, I'm reading Othello. Rest in peace, Desdemona. She just got killed.
Wow. Also, rest in peace to William Frankenstein. I think that's his last name. I don't know. In Frankenstein, he also just died. So, RIP. Sorry, spoilers if you're in my English class and have not read that far. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.